In Rogue One, we see Darth Vader healing inside a bacta tank in his castle on Mustafar. Upon the arrival of Director Krennic, his helper Vinay enters the room and informs Lord Vader about his arrival. It is then that we get to see two royal guards on both sides of the bacta tank guarding the Sith Lord. We first saw this in the trailer for Rogue One, and it was actually this scene that led many fans to speculate endlessly about whether we would see Palpatine in Rogue One, since previously we have seen the royal guards only in the presence of the Emperor. What is even stranger is the fact that we see them guarding Vader only on Mustafar, and not at all while he uses his meditation chamber on his flagship the Executor in the film The Empire Strikes Back. Well, to answer this, we first must look at the main differences between these two locations, Vader's castle and the Executor, where both times we see Vader healing and or meditating. The main difference between both of them is quite simply security, and while Vader is meditating on his chamber inside the Executor, there are countless of stormtroopers and officers aboard the ship, not to mention the ship's outside defenses such as turrets, cannons, and shields protecting it from an incoming enemy, making Vader's meditation chamber much more secure than the actual bacta tank we see him in while on his castle. You see, another difference that needs to be mentioned is that the Executor is where Vader worked, but at his castle on Mustafar is where he lived and spent his free time. Vader is very vulnerable while he is inside the bacta tank. There he is without his suit and his lightsaber, and not to mention his mind is focused elsewhere. The castle was located in a secluded world where Vader preferred his privacy and not to treat it as a military base. Therefore, not much security was present on the castle. This is why we see the Imperial guards guarding him on Mustafar and not on his flagship. In my opinion, the security on Vader's castle is a good contrast between the other Imperial locations. Whereas the military flagships opted for quantity with their security, Vader instead opted for quality for his new home on Mustafar. However, protecting Vader's body from harm is not the only reason why we see the royal guards with Vader. Though the guards possessed many attributes that the Emperor appreciated, trust was above all else. This is clearly outlined in the canon novel Lords of the Sith, where it is shown that the royal guards were so trustworthy that they wouldn't even discuss things amongst themselves. This meant that apart from protecting Vader, they had to also protect any secret information that could be obtained by an outsider, and since Vader's castle on Mustafar is where Vader spends most of his time, he often got transmissions from Palpatine about furthering the Imperial agenda. Only the most trustworthy were allowed to be in the same room while these conversations happened between Vader and Palpatine, whose identity of him being a Sith Lord was still being kept a secret. Alright fellow Star Wars fans, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and by any chance if you liked it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't miss out on any of my future videos that I will post on this channel. Have a fun day my friends, and in closing, don't forget, may the Force be with you, always.